What is up, you sexy mother hubbards? Michael Gove has unveiled the government's new definition of extremism today in a fast-moving, quickly signed-off update to government legislation, which is really inspiring, guys, because when you consider the urgent need to address tax avoidance, which has left the UK coffers starved for about 15 years now, when you think that we desperately need immigrants to come in and power the UK economy and bring us back to growth, these urgent problems that we need to fix, it is inspiring that the government have managed to move heaven and earth in 3 weeks to solve the problem of extremism. Now, all this started a few weeks, so actually months ago, when over-promoted Walking Peter principal Suella Braverman reclassified protests as hate marches, but described the conduct of those partaking in the marches as deliberately staying just beneath the threshold at which police could realistically take action. To which I responded at the time, like, oh, right, okay, so not breaking the law then. Cool. Anyway, she then decided to really, amp up the rhetoric. She called them extremists. She pretended that Muslims and the wokerati were going to attack the cenotaph. Do you remember all of that? Amusingly, no one within the pro-Gaza marches touched the cenotaph. They weren't anywhere near to it. Though the opposing EDL lot did go on to ransack the place. I don't know if you recall all of the footage. And even after she was sacked, even after Suella Braverman was given her own marching orders, Sunak continued with her cultural nonsense. He's had to sack Leanderthal since then for his Islamophobia. There has been zero let-up in talk about invasions in dinghies on the south coast. In fact, now where we are is we are in a period of tabloid frenzy, aren't we? Ours is a political zeitgeist powered by talk of no-go areas, of activist lawyers, of the Daily Mail pressuring police to arrest protesters for just projecting their slogans onto the side of a building. And anyway, as emotions have run high and this frenzy has bubbled up, where has the Prime Minister been? Has he sought to calm tensions or appease the lunacy of the hard right of his party? Well, as far as the ERG and the GB News quarters of his party are concerned, he's never late to placate, is he? Because Sunak soon acted by putting his best platform shoes on and giving a sermon, didn't he? There he was, outside number 10 in front of his podium, pretending that extremism was now the number one priority for the British people. This is approaching a crisis and we have to take action on it. So that then to the electorate he can look like he's taking action on something, but also concurrently so he can recategorize his opponents as extremists. So yes, anyway, a couple of weeks ago he announced that he would be redefining extremism. And now, today, Michael Gove has come back to the Houses of Parliament to talk about this new definition.
Will not affect gender-critical campaigners, those with conservative religious beliefs, trans activists, environmental protest groups, or those exercising their proper right to free speech.
Okay, so eco-activists, you're not going to call them like eco-zealots, eco-extremists. You're not going to suggest that people fighting for trans rights, that they're extremists. They're let off the hook, are they?
The proposed definition will hold that extremism is the promotion or advancement of an ideology based on violence, hatred, or intolerance.
An ideology based on hate and intolerance, you say? That's interesting. I wonder if F off back to France fits in that bracket. I wonder if secretly liking and retweeting other people's tweets about kicking out all the immigrants and having some sort of white European ethno-superstate, I wonder if that counts as extreme.
Hatred or intolerance that aims to negate or destroy the fundamental rights and freedoms of others, or undermine, overturn or replace the UK's system of liberal parliamentary democracy and democratic rights, or intentionally create a permissive environment for others to achieve these results.
I mean, the whole thing seems like an exercise in projection, doesn't it? You know, undermining the rights and freedoms of others in Western liberal democracy. You know, I mean, do we have to go through the instances and examples that the Conservative Party over the last 5 or 6 years have conspired to take away people's rights and freedoms? I'm not just talking about freedom of movement. I'm talking about bringing in voter ID to deliberately frustrate people so they can't play an active role in the democratic process.
It is important to stress that we are in no way intending to restrict freedom of expression, religion or belief.
Unless your protest is noisy and annoying, or maybe you beam the wrong image up on the side of Big Ben, or maybe you shout the wrong slogan that you guys have said is hateful.
We are in no way intending to restrict freedom of expression.
I mean, what if my chosen method or medium of expression is singing From the River to the Sea while doing a balloon, Michael? I know you hate them. Or I can express myself that way. Or what about if I say that this woman over here makes me want to hate all black women and she should probably be shot? Which of those is extreme, and am I allowed to express myself in those ways? Please, I'm all ears, Michael.
Across this House, I am sure that we would agree that organisations such as the British National Socialist Movement and Patriotic Alternative, who promote neo-Nazi ideology, argue for forced repatriation, a white ethno-state, and the targeting of minority groups for intimidation, are precisely the type of groups about which we should be concerned.
I mean, this is the thing that I don't get with this, right? Is in this speech, right, he's outlined groups, plural. He's named them as groups that he would be concerned about or by within the context of extremism. And that may or may not be captured by this new definition. And yet, when he's later asked if GB News funder and Tory donor Paul Marshall, who liked and shared multiple far-right, Islamophobic, homophobic, conspiracy theory posts, he's asked if he is an extremist, would he be caught in this new definition of extremism? Michael Gove replies with, "Oh, I deplore this attack on Paul Marshall. He's a distinguished philanthropist, is what he is." So really, this is just the Tories tying themselves in knots. And you love to see it, really. It's good fun. Because all this is Rishi Sunak needed to distract the public. He can't fix the actual challenges that we have, like the cost of living crisis, energy security, the NHS, social care. So instead, he has to invent this boogeyman. And this week's one is extremism. But the problem with inventing crises so you can be seen to be taking action on them is that eventually you are forced to write down what that problem is and the ways that you're going to try and solve it. And if you've dreamt up this problem like it's a fantasy, now you've got to find solutions to the problem. The problem doesn't even exist, so how could the solutions ever make sense? So now the Tories are in a situation where they're chasing their own tails, like, well, we've got to solve extremism. Okay, well, what is extremism to you? Oh, well, it's all of these things. Hate and intolerance. Okay, well, that sounds like exactly the sort of market you're running towards. No, we're not. We're not hateful or intolerant. Okay, how come you're shitting your tits every day about all of the votes and MPs now that you're hemorrhaging to reform? No, actually, we're not. Okay. Tell me this. Do you hate racists? Well, I think there are some people out there who have... Just say it. Just say you hate racists. Well, it's not a... Just shut the fuck up with you. I mean, it's incredibly funny, really, when you think about it, isn't it? It's like, just marvel at the era that we're living in. Right, we are living under a Conservative government who honestly expect us to believe that extremism is such a vital, urgent issue that they feel compelled. They have to redefine it, guys. You've got to redefine extremism. That is happening at exactly the same time as they spectacularly fail to even say what a racist is. We've got to redefine what extremism is. Why don't you start with racist and then, baby steps, guys. Peace.